Hola, buenas tardes a todos los que habéis venido aquí a la cepillería de Barreira y a todos y todas los que nos estáis siguiendo por el streaming. Vamos a empezar con la última de las conferencias programadas en estas jornadas del diseño gráfico, la penúltima de las acciones que vamos a hacer en estos 2 intensos días. Es un placer conectar con Nueva York, con la artista multidisciplinar Youting Lin. Como muchos de vosotros seguramente sabéis ya, es un artista multidisciplinar especializado en los lenguajes del diseño gráfico y muy especialmente en los motion graphics, en cuyo ámbito su trabajo ha destacado a nivel internacional, también después de haber realizado su máster en Computer Art. Como sabéis, vive y trabaja en Nueva York y su trabajo se caracteriza por la integración de elementos gráficos y de efectos de animación para crear una suerte de imágenes y de propuestas semióticas que permanezcan, según ella, que sean capaces de permanecer en nuestra memoria. Ella misma comenta y nos va a explicar ahora que su inspiración procede directamente de la frescura y la actividad que encuentra paseando por las calles de su ciudad, en la que disfruta observando detenidamente las numerosas aplicaciones tipográficas que puede encontrar en una urbe como Nueva York, aunque también podemos encontrar aquí, y que considera que es uno de sus pasatiempos favoritos. Desde esa práctica habla de que utiliza su teléfono móvil para ir continuamente captando imágenes que le sirvan de inspiración, captando footage, que llama. Y bueno, ahora precisamente nos hablará empezará hablándonos de esa metodología que utiliza, de sus procesos de creación y de los proyectos que tiene en marcha. Y también esperamos que, si da tiempo, pueda responder a algunas de sus preguntas. Youting, I just say that you're going to start telling us about how do you pick up inspiration walking by the city. So please, whenever you want, here is your audience. So it's all
Okay.
yours.
Hello everyone. I'm Youting
Aplaudir.
Lin. Can I share my screen right now?
Yes,
Is
do
it
it.
okay? Okay. So is it working? Can you see my screen?
Okay, you're watching your presentation. Can you do it full screen?
Yeah.
Nice, it's perfect
Okay.
in full screen.
Cool. Hello everyone. I'm Youting Lin, and let me introduce myself a bit. I'm originally from Taiwan, and I moved to New York in 2018, and right now I'm living in Brooklyn neighborhood. It's a chill neighborhood. I love it, and I'm a designer, crowds, graphic design, also motion graphics. So for the most part of the conference, I will talk about how I pick up my inspirations. There are some keywords: Pinterest, record store, daily observations, street cultures. I think most of you are most familiar with Pinterest, but I still want to bring it up a little bit because it's like it's like how I collect my ideas. It's like it's like my design data. When, for example, when I'm walking in the street and I see something interesting or inspiring, I just take a photo and I Google a photo. And if I got a result I'm not sure about it, I will upload the photo to Pinterest. And it's also like open source. I think it could benefit people who are looking for something interesting or something rare to see. Yeah. So I'm not just pings other people's ping. I also create new pings as well. And first of all, I want to talk a little bit about record covers because it's like a start point of where I feel interesting in design. I still remember the first time I saw the cranberry record covers. It's just really it's just hit me, and I just look up who did this, and I got the name. It's called Storm Surgeon. It's a amazing designer, and I just look up all his artwork for record covers, and I just impressed by how he combined the bold colors, photography, and minimalism. Also, the most important, the realism. Yeah, I as I know, he back to his time, there was no Photoshop, so that's even made him more, admirable. And I also want to talk about Spotify. It's where I'm listening to music every day, and I can always casually find some, a little bit unpopular or underground music there, and those covers are usually very inspiring. And of course, I pinned all of them to my Pinterest. This is like my album collection. There are hundreds of album covers. And I also like how Spotify display the record cover on here here. So when you are listening to the music, you can also immediately recognize uh, who made the music, and also their record covers. And when I feel a lack of fresh new ideas, I go to a record store. It's kind of um, it's like I feel like it's like the most inspiring space in the world. I just always feel a surge of inspiration. Um, so also when I travel to a city, I always visit their record store. It's a quiet place, but um, and meanwhile, I mean, it's filled with music, but it's not crowded as the other, popular tourism spot. So that's where I always visit and always feel inspiring. And these two were taken in Japan. Um, I just brought back a lot of records from these two stores. The price is decent, and the conditions are all good. And the city where I'm living right now, I especially like this one. This one. It's not because of the record covers. It's because of the, can you see the tab? I like the handwriting of the tab of category. It's interesting to me. And also, one in Amsterdam, another one in Berlin. The Amsterdam one called Rush Hour, it could be my favorite. Um, I visit this store 2 days in a row when I travel to Amsterdam. I just like how they treat the record covers. It's like every record covers has a little square spot. It's like artwork. And the reason why I like these two stores is because they they both have player stations. So if you have a record on your hand, and you can just go to a player station and listen to it before you decided to buy or not, to buy the record store or not. And the other topic I want to talk about is street culture. I think it just reminds me of how inspiring of my daily surroundings. Can you hear me? All good? Okay. Yeah, so is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay, Youting, we're hearing you perfectly. You can go.
Okay. Okay, I'm just checking.
But I lost my mic.
So I'm just continue. So yeah, just talk about street culture because it's quite an important part of how I pick up my inspiration. I just want to share some information about this museum. It's in Germany, and I'm really lucky. I traveled to many places before the pandemic, and I traveled to Berlin, just right in last year, the beginning of last year. So just it's very close to the explosion of the virus, but still. Anyways, this museum called Bush Taben Museum. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right because it's German, and as I know, it's not established by government or some national organization. It's established by personal passion for typography. So it's kind of not the most popular spot to travel to, but it's like a gem to me. It's a secret place to visit. They just collect so many abandoned or forgotten typographic signs, like shop signs or logos or letters, and it's just so interesting that you can look at those letters so close because I mean, my situation, I usually just apply the fonts on the screen or print it out. It's interesting to see such a huge letters in front of me, and I'm just really inspired by the city, Berlin. It's exists so many conflicts. The here you can see such a thick layer of posters, and here you can also see clean advertisement and clean fonts, and yeah, it's interesting to do some typography investigation in the city casually. And after I head to the Netherlands after Berlin, and I love this city. I think how they treat their how they treat the typography or the city design is a little bit childlike, but at the same time, I think it's also sophisticated, just so clean and accurate and playful. That's why I love it. Then the city, New York, where I'm living right now, I feel like in New York it's more diverse. You see there, here, you can see this kind of handwriting and kind of out of grid system, and also here you can see some bizarre and some square fonts here. It's just so many stuff happening in the city. And you can also see some hardcore and rough stuff here. And I like how they treat the typography in everywhere. And this is, I look at this store. I think it's, when I saw it, I just feel it's really interesting. I think in New York it's more common to see the layout goes vertical, because I think the reason is because all the house or shops are small, and if you go vertical, you can fill in a lot of information about your store or anything else. And this is this one is a art book fair held before the pandemic. And I like how playful it is, and combine some illustrations also out of the grid system. And I also want to introduce a little bit about Asia, where I'm born and raised. It's and I think it's probably more different from Spain, because we use characters mostly, and just totally different language system. And like how you see each character for I mean this photo, each character has a canvas, and I feel like the group of the sign of the store is interesting and elegant, actually. And you can also see this kind of stuff, kind of casual but playful. I don't know, it's interesting to me. And the latest part, I would like to introduce my my graduation work. It's called a Big Crush from last year. So we can just directly go to my website. It's a Big Crush. It's my graduation film from School of Visual Art. It's actually a porn story with a little bit feminism, and it's about a girl who has a romantic and sexual experience, and how her psyche handles a series of reactions, including the association of sex and food. And this project was inspired by exploration of emotion and sexuality from a woman's view. So to develop the story, I made a questionnaire about emotion and sexuality, and the results were surprisingly interesting and diverse. And I would say those steps definitely helped me to make the story more playful and personal and weird and playful. So I don't know if this is working. And there's some there's a oh yeah the end card and I also made I used the title to make posters for the exhibitions. And here are some friends. I actually designed the title. I don't use I just customize my font. And I think the challenge to me is back then my device and my equipment were not so powerful, and it's not fancy like it's not very like when I want to use some 3D, I need some high level render, and I don't have that render, so that's why I combine 2D and 3D, because that will be easier for me. And that's what I want to talk about. I think it's important to think about when your device or equipment is not that powerful, what can you do? Maybe just use what you have and make it unique, and more or work on your style. So that'll be cool to, and you can always stay calm when you are asked to do something, because you can just use what you have well. And next project I would like to talk about it's my internship from last year. I worked with a studio called Fisk. They are so talented and humble, and I'm so lucky to be able to join them. And it's just a pleasure to work with them. And I want to introduce some work I did for them. So I redesigned the flower and plant logo, IG logos for this project, and they have a gallery and store. And so, and the logo has been applied to their product of the project called Artist 01 Collection Project. It's so the logo has been applied to some product like t-shirt, jacket, tote bag, and cap, mouse pad, and so on. So that's their Instagram page, and this is the sweater, the shirt, the garments here. Yeah, the t-shirt and the tote bag, and the cap, the mouse pad, the paper tap, the water bottle. This is the Beijing, the owner of the of Fisk project. They are so iconic in the United States, I guess. Anyways, I followed them on Instagram for a long time, and I also made a like promo animation for them. It's kind of short, but maybe you can check their page. They are very cool. I think they are a little bit different from other design studio. They don't play safe. They always play bold, and they actually, for example, they don't just do graphic design. They also do like music videos and real estate. It's a band I really like. So they, you can see Alicia Keys. So they connected with the music industry so tight as well. Also, it's called what? It's Terry Moy, and yeah, I participate in this project as well. I made the patents, but because of pandemic, because my immune system is kind of weak than normal people, so I am not allowed to take a plan, because they are in Portland and I'm in New York, so it's kind of remotely collaboration. But in Portland, people already work face to face, so they asked me to move to Poland, but it's so sad because my situation doesn't allow. So I'm staying in New York temporarily for now. And the third project, the latest project I want to talk about, it's a personal design, cover design. It's kind of personal, but I want to talk about it because it ties to what I just introduced. It's the material were coming from the street. I made the logo, also the typography design. Also, I use a photo I took from everywhere. and made several versions of the first the first issue cover. And I think I try to break the grid, but also, maintain some of them. So here you can see obvious the grid system, but I try to play a bit here as a small part. So I think I that's why I like Berlin. I like some conflict. I like some contrast. Yeah, and this is a example. I made this experimental poster here, and it's actually inspired by what I saw in the street. This is a photo I took in my neighborhood, and I just saw inspired by the light and shadow on the card. So I brought this idea to. I just want to try something. So I brought this idea to this poster, and I think it's working well. So yeah, that's it. It's my. I hope. It's most of these are my personal opinion, but I hope this helps in a way.
Sure, it will. Youting, thank you very much. I don't
Thank
know
you.
I don't know if there is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I don't know if there is any question here for Youting. There is a chance for you. Okay. Manolo has a question for you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have two questions. The first one is, before you moved to New York, if you did any kind of related studies in Taiwan. And the other question is if you felt any boost of creativity, because I went to New York in 2019, and especially Brooklyn really inspired me a lot.
Oh.
So if you felt any kind of boost after you moved.
For the first question, my background is graphic design, so I studied graphic design in grad school, in undergrad school, and after my graduation, I work as a like UI designer because higher wage, and then I got bored of that, and so I self-learned like After Effects and Cinema 4D, and then I feel I wanted to be more professional. That's why I came to New York for further study. Yeah. And your second question, can you say it again? Your second question.
Yeah, if you felt any boost of creativity after you moved to New York.
Oh, definitely. I think in Manhattan and Brooklyn, it's so different. In Manhattan, it's more commercial because my school is located in Chelsea, which is like a central of Manhattan. So I had to commute for the last last 2 years, and right now I'm living in Brooklyn, and I stay home for remote working, and I feel like Brooklyn is more hardcore. They use like red or saturated colors, and all the signboards are so big, but I still feel inspired by all of them. And I actually have a lot of photos from Brooklyn Street. It's like my design data, yeah. But it's interesting to talk about it either in the downtown or Brooklyn. The layout design goes vertical. It's interesting to see because it's rare to see in other places, even the other city in the United States. Yeah, so it's interesting.
Any further questions? Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
Before you got into graphic design, did you explore any other art, maybe in your childhood or if your family was artistic? That's something I'd like to know.
In my childhood, I like drawing, and maybe I want to be fine art artist. And then I went to university and I majored in design, and I realized how different between fine art and design, because I feel like if you are doing art and you are an artist, you just be yourself and you can show any concept you care about. But being a designer, I think you have to be aware of what your client wants and add your aesthetic, add your sense of beauty to elevate the product. Anyways, I think it's just different. Yeah. And I realized I am more into doing design rather than doing myself, doing art, or I mean what I was interested in my childhood.
Thank you. I have another question. Do you think it is important to include like hand drawings and physical art into technology so that it's not just vectors and everything technology? Do you think that art should be like a great part in graphic design?
Yeah, definitely. I think I like the diversity of graphic design or any kind of design, and I'm actually on the project that's including some hand drawing and BMap is not vector, a project, and it will be out in the end of this year. And that's why I like Fisk, the studio I just introduced to you guys. They are just doing everything and there's no limitations. And I think at least in the United States, I think people are open for that. You can do it whatever you want, and it's not just vector. Yeah, and I think it's important to develop your style, or you don't have to go with the trend. You just even you do something very old school or traditional that could be cool and could be creative and could be new. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wants to take advantage of Youting's attention? It's now or never. No? So, Youting, that's all. So thank you very much for your connection, for your speech. We are very grateful, we're very thankful, and we just have to wish you a very much luck in every project, every further project to you. And we
Same here. Thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you very
time
much.
and you're
Un
helping.
aplauso.
Thank you.
See you soon. We will be glad to have you in person in Spain whenever it's possible.
Oh, of course. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Goodbye, Youting.
Bye-bye.
Pues